Have you ever noticed that the loudest people often achieve the least, while those who remain quiet, focused, and consistent seem to rise higher than anyone expected? Life teaches us something powerful. Growth doesn't always happen in the spotlight. It happens in silence. The seeds that grow into towering trees do not make noise when they push through the soil, but their roots dig deep in silence before the world ever sees their greatness. And that's the truth I want you to hold on to today. If you truly want to win big in life, you must first master the art of growing in silence. Because when you announce everything before it matures, you risk destroying the very thing that could have changed your life. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will shift how you pursue success forever. Silence protects your growth from negativity and judgment. This is one of the most underestimated secrets of success, yet it is also one of the most powerful. Too often, people feel the urge to announce every step of their journey. They share their ideas before they are formed, their plans before they are ready, and their dreams before they are even strong enough to survive. What they don't realize is that growth, in its early stages, is fragile. Just like a seed buried in the soil, it cannot handle too much exposure. If you dig it up too soon, if you expose it to harsh winds before it develops roots, it dies. In the same way, when you share your vision too early with the wrong people, you risk having it crushed before it even begins. Silence is your shield. It is what guards the most delicate phases of your growth. Because the moment you reveal your plans, you invite opinions. And not all opinions are supportive. Some will question you, some will doubt you, some will laugh at you. And unfortunately, their words, if you're not mentally strong, can echo in your head louder than your own belief. Think about how many people have abandoned their dreams, not because they were impossible, but because someone they trusted told them it couldn't be done. That is the power of negativity. It doesn't need to be true to kill your vision. It just needs to plant enough doubt. Judgment works the same way. The world is quick to label you before you've even arrived. If you're in the early stages of building, some will say you're wasting your time. If you fail along the way, they'll call you foolish for trying. And if you dare to dream bigger than what they believe is realistic, they'll brand you as arrogant or delusional. This is why silence is necessary. It protects you from the weight of opinions that have no business deciding your destiny. Your growth deserves a safe environment, an environment free from the contamination of unnecessary judgment. But silence doesn't just protect, it empowers. When you keep your vision to yourself, you give it room to mature in strength and clarity. Without the noise of other people's voices, you can actually hear your own. You can refine your ideas, adjust your path, and grow at your own pace. Silence allows your growth to be authentic, not manipulated by outside pressure. And when the time comes for your results to show, the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to respect you. Because results silence critics in ways that words never can. Imagine a tree growing in a forest. It doesn't make noise while spreading its roots deep underground. No one claps for it when it breaks through the soil. No one praises it when it stretches slowly toward the sun. But over time, its silence becomes its strength. It grows tall, unshaken, unbothered, and eventually it becomes too big to be ignored. That's exactly how your growth works. In silence, you build resilience. In silence, you develop depth. And in silence, you prepare for the moment when your results will speak for themselves. So understand this. Not everyone deserves front row access to your growth. Not everyone should know what you are working on. Protect your vision like it's treasure, because it is. Guard your growth like it's sacred, because it is. And when the world finally sees what you've been building, it will be too late for their negativity or judgment to stop it. Silence protects, and when used wisely, it guarantees that your growth survives long enough to win big. Noise is one of the greatest enemies of progress. When you talk too much about your plans, your goals, and your vision, you end up creating distractions that weaken your focus and steal your energy. There's a reason people say actions speak louder than words. Because words, when spoken prematurely, can trap you in a cycle of endless explanation instead of execution. Many people have failed not because their dreams were too small, but because they wasted too much time talking about them to everyone who would listen. Noise becomes a trap. It creates the illusion of progress when in reality, nothing is being built. You can't climb the mountain if you're standing at the bottom telling everyone how great it's going to feel once you reach the top. The climb itself requires silence, determination, and step-by-step action. When you constantly share your plans, you invite unnecessary pressure to prove yourself to others instead of focusing on proving yourself to yourself. You begin to worry about who believes in you, who doubts you, who claps for you, and who ignores you. This external noise chips away at your momentum. It shifts your energy from building to convincing. And here's the truth. No matter how hard you try, not everyone will believe in your dream. Some will nod politely, others will dismiss you silently, and a few will openly tell you it can't be done. Every word you speak about your plan opens the door for noise, and that noise slows you down. Noise is also deceptive because it can give you a false sense of accomplishment. You talk about what you're going to do, and people may applaud, encourage, or even admire your ambition. That attention feels good, but it tricks your brain into thinking you've already achieved something. Psychologists call this social reality. When you declare something publicly, you may lose the inner drive to work as hard because your mind has already tasted the reward through people's validation. In other words, you burn your fuel before the journey even begins. That's why those who make the most noise about their goals often achieve the least. They've spent their energy talking instead of doing. Silence, on the other hand, eliminates this trap. It keeps you grounded and hungry. When you don't announce every step, you're forced to hold yourself accountable, not to others' applause, but to your own discipline. You start to measure progress by actions, not words. And in this state, your focus sharpens. You no longer chase validation, you chase execution. You no longer need to explain your path, you simply walk it. Noise is a distraction, but silence is a weapon. Think about history's greatest achievers. They didn't constantly broadcast their every move. They worked quietly, patiently, and consistently until the results became too big to be ignored. By the time the world noticed, the foundation had already been laid, the roots had already spread, and the noise of doubters could no longer matter. Their silence was their protection, but also their strategy. It kept them locked into their mission. Noise wastes time. Every conversation where you try to convince others of your vision is time that could have been used building it. Every debate with a skeptic is energy that could have been poured into proving them wrong through results. Silence keeps you moving. Silence protects your energy. Silence ensures that the loudest thing about you will never be your promises but your achievements. The path to winning big is paved with focus, and focus thrives in silence. When you cut out the noise, you eliminate distractions. When you eliminate distractions, you accelerate progress. And when you accelerate progress, success becomes inevitable. Remember, noise is cheap, but results are priceless. Talk less, work more. The world will respect your silence when it is followed by undeniable success. Focus is far more valuable than fame, especially in the early stages of building something meaningful. Too many people chase recognition before they have mastered their craft, before they have built something that is truly worthy of attention. Fame can be intoxicating, but it can also be destructive if it comes before the foundation is laid. What use is applause if you don't have the strength to maintain what you've built? What use is recognition if you haven't yet mastered the discipline to handle it? This is why true winners understand the importance of focusing on the work rather than the noise of being noticed. They know that fame is fleeting, but focus creates something that lasts. When you put fame before focus, you set yourself up for failure. You start tailoring your actions to please others instead of to fulfill your purpose. Every decision becomes about how it will look, not about whether it will move you forward. And the danger in that is simple. You may end up impressing people while secretly knowing you are not progressing. Fame without depth is a mask. It looks good from the outside, but it collapses under pressure. Focus, however, builds depth. Focus builds skills, character, and consistency. It gives you something solid to stand on when the spotlight finally finds you. Winners don't chase applause, they chase growth. They understand that recognition will come in its own time, but preparation must come first. An athlete doesn't run onto the world stage without years of unseen training. A musician doesn't master their instrument by seeking fame first. They master it by hours of practice when no one is watching. This principle applies to every area of life. If you desire true success, you must be more committed to focus than you are to fame. Focus will feel lonely. Focus will require sacrifice. Focus will mean long hours of work without claps or cheers. But those hours in silence, those sacrifices that no one sees, are the very things that prepare you to win big when your time arrives. Fame can easily distract you from the mission. When people start clapping too early, you may mistake their applause for arrival. You might believe you've already made it, when in reality, you've only just begun, and this false sense of achievement kills progress. But when your eyes are fixed on focus instead of fame, you never get comfortable. You stay hungry. You keep building. You keep pushing because you know the journey is bigger than people's temporary recognition. There is also a kind of freedom in choosing focus over fame. Fame enslaves you to public opinion. Every move you make is judged, and every mistake is magnified, but focus liberates you. Focus allows you to work in silence, to fail in silence, to improve in silence, without the weight of the crowd watching. That freedom makes you stronger. It allows you to take risks, to experiment, to learn without fear of judgment. Then, by the time the spotlight does arrive, you're not shaken by it. You're prepared for it. Focus creates mastery. And mastery is what leads to sustainable success. Fame may open doors, but without mastery, you won't be able to stay in the room. Think of those who became famous overnight, but faded just as quickly. Their fame was not backed by focus, so it evaporated. But those who spent years focusing in silence continue to dominate for decades, because their foundation is unshakable. The truth is simple. Fame will always come to those who have focused long enough to become undeniable. But if you chase fame before focus, you risk losing both. So, don't be distracted by applause. Don't crave recognition before you are ready. Let your focus sharpen you, let your discipline prepare you, and let your results demand the attention of the world. When you focus first, fame becomes a byproduct, not a pursuit. And that is the difference between those who fade away quickly and those who win big for life. Every word you speak about your dreams and goals carries energy. The more you explain, justify, or announce your plans, the more energy you spend on people rather than on the work itself. Energy is like currency. Once you spend it, it's gone. The danger is that many people burn their energy on conversations instead of on execution. They talk about what they are going to build, or what they are going to achieve, or what they are going to change, and by the end of the conversation, they feel drained. The excitement that should have been invested into action has already been wasted on talk. Silence conserves that energy. It redirects it away from explanation and into execution, away from words and into work. Think about how powerful your focus becomes when you're not constantly explaining yourself. Every time you talk about your plans to someone who doesn't understand or doesn't care, you're leaking energy. You leave that conversation less motivated, less inspired, and sometimes even doubting yourself. But when you stay silent, you keep that energy bottled inside like fuel, and you use it to take the next step forward. It is that stored energy, preserved and applied to your craft, that builds momentum over time. The people who achieve greatness are not necessarily smarter or more talented. They are simply more disciplined about where they direct their energy. Consider the difference between a leaking faucet and a tightly sealed one. The leaking faucet wastes water drop by drop until the tank is empty, while the sealed faucet holds pressure until it's released in a powerful flow. That is exactly what happens with your energy. If you leak it away in endless conversations and explanations, you weaken yourself. Word. But if you hold it in silence and release it through action, you become unstoppable. Silence makes you efficient. It keeps your energy focused on what matters most. Word. Another truth is that people will not always value the energy you spend on explaining your vision. Some will dismiss it, others will criticize it. Word. And a few may even use it against you. That makes the energy wasted even more costly. Why hand over your passion to someone who cannot handle it? Word. Why drain yourself trying to convince others of what only you can see? Protecting your energy by choosing silence is not about fear. It's about wisdom. Word. It is knowing that your energy belongs in the process, not in unnecessary persuasion. Energy conservation through silence also gives you consistency. When you're not distracted by proving yourself, you can show up every day with a clear mind. Word. You don't waste time recharging from discouraging conversations. Instead, your energy flows into habits, routines, and actions that compound over time. Word. That consistency is what eventually separates winners from everyone else. The ones who waste energy talking eventually burn out. Word. But the ones who conserve it in silence have enough strength to keep going when others quit. In the end, word. The world doesn't reward you for how much energy you spent talking. It rewards you for what you built with the energy you saved. Word. The results will always speak louder than explanations. Silence ensures that your energy fuels your work, not the noise around it. If you want to win big, guard your energy like treasure, because once it's gone, it's gone. Talk less, save more, and let your work be the proof that you never wasted your power on noise. Preparation in private is the foundation of every public success. The world often sees the finished product, but rarely the countless hours of silent preparation behind it. Athletes spend years training before they ever compete on a stage. Musicians rehearse endlessly before they perform in front of thousands. Leaders study, fail, and refine in private long before they are respected in public. The truth is, greatness is built away from the spotlight. In moments where no one is clapping, no one is watching, and no one is giving recognition. If you desire to win big, word, you must embrace those private seasons of preparation because they are what make you unshakable when the spotlight finally arrives. The challenge is that preparation can feel invisible. You put in effort every day and nobody notices. You push yourself, sacrifice your time, and remain disciplined, but there is no applause. This is why many people give up. They mistake the silence of preparation for failure. But silence is not failure, silence is incubation. It is where the roots grow before the fruit appears. Word. It is where strength is developed so that when the weight of success comes, you are not crushed under it. Public victory without private preparation always leads to collapse. Word. That's why so many people achieve small bursts of success but cannot sustain them. They skip the silent work. When you prepare in private, you gain two powerful advantages. First, you build competence. Repetition and discipline in hidden moments sharpen your skills until excellence becomes natural. Second, you build confidence. Word. Confidence is not the product of applause. It is the result of knowing you are ready, because you've done the work no one else saw. Word. It's the quiet assurance that you can handle the opportunity when it comes. Without that preparation, opportunities often slip through our fingers because we are not ready when they arrive. Another key truth is that private preparation protects you from embarrassment. When you train in silence, you can make mistakes, learn, and improve without the pressure of judgment. You can fail 1,000 times privately until you finally succeed. And when the world sees you, they only witness the polished version. What they call talent is often nothing more than preparation they never saw. Silence gives you the freedom to grow without the weight of performance too early. It is easy to want the spotlight immediately, but the spotlight is dangerous if you step into it unprepared. It magnifies both your strengths and your weaknesses. Without preparation, it will expose your flaws more than your abilities. But when you've done the work in private, the spotlight will only confirm what you already know, that you are ready. So don't despise the quiet seasons of preparation. Don't rush to be seen before you are strong enough to stand. Let the silence be your training ground. Let the hidden hours be your classroom. Because the truth is this: when the preparation is deep enough, the presentation will be undeniable. The world cannot ignore the excellence that comes from private discipline. Preparation in silence is not wasted. It is the very thing that ensures your public success lasts. Silence strengthens patience. Word. And patience is one of the most powerful forces behind lasting success. In a world that constantly pressures us to move fast, to announce every small achievement, and to show instant results, silence teaches us the value of waiting, of holding back, and of letting things grow at their own pace. When you remain silent about your goals, you free yourself from the demand of rushing to impress others. You learn to trust the process instead of forcing it. Patience is not weakness, it is strength under control. Word. It is the ability to know that what you are building will take time, and instead of being frustrated by the wait, you use the waiting season to prepare yourself even more. The reason so many people give up on their dreams is because they lack patience. They want the seed they planted today to become a tree tomorrow. They want to skip the process and jump straight to the reward. But real growth doesn't work that way. Just like nature takes time to produce fruit, success takes time to reveal results. Silence allows you to endure this period without the noise of people asking, "Where's the progress? Why isn't it working yet?" Because when you keep your journey private, you remove the unnecessary pressure of meeting others' timelines. You learn to operate on your own clock, which keeps your patience intact. Patience developed in silence also builds mental toughness. It teaches you how to wait without breaking down, how to work without immediate applause, and how to believe even when there is nothing visible to confirm your belief, This mental toughness is what allows you to keep pushing when most people would quit. Patience tells you, it's not happening yet, but it will. Stay steady. And that steady hand, that calm discipline, is what turns small, consistent actions into extraordinary results. Silence also protects you from the dangerous trap of comparison. When you're quiet, you're not competing with someone else's timeline. You're not measuring your growth against the speed of others. You learn to accept that your journey is unique and that the timing of your success is not late. It's right on schedule. That inner peace fuels resilience. It allows you to hold your ground when everything in you wants to give up. In the end, patience is not about waiting passively, it's about enduring actively. It's about using the silence to keep growing, keep improving, and keep building, even when no one notices. And when the time is right, patience will make sure that what you've built is not only visible, but unshakable. Silence strengthens patience, and patience guarantees that your success will not be rushed, but it will be real and lasting. Winning speaks louder than words. In fact, it is the loudest voice you will ever have. You can talk about your plans, your intentions, your ambitions, but words without results are empty. People may listen for a moment, but without proof, their attention fades. What captures attention permanently is not what you said you would do. It's what you actually did. Results silence critics, disarm doubters, and command respect in a way that arguments never could. This is why true winners are not obsessed with convincing anyone, They are obsessed with producing outcomes that cannot be denied. When you talk too much about your goals, you invite opinions, debates, and often doubt, Some will argue with you, some will dismiss you, and others will even discourage you. But when you show results, there is no argument left to have. You cannot debate evidence. You cannot deny what stands in front of you. The beauty of results is that they require no explanation. They are clear, undeniable, and powerful enough to silence every critic without you saying a single word. This is why the most successful people allow their victories to speak for them. They don't waste time trying to persuade people of their worth or the size of their vision. They understand that the most effective response to doubt is execution. Instead of trying to shout louder, they choose to work harder. Word. Instead of defending their dreams with words, they defend them with proof. And in the end, proof always wins. Think about it. Word. When someone achieves something remarkable, even their loudest critics are forced into silence. Doubters may have laughed at the beginning, but when the results come, laughter turns into quiet recognition. It doesn't matter what was said before. The evidence is too strong to ignore. That is the power of letting your results speak. Another truth is that winning creates credibility. Word. You don't need to explain who you are or why people should listen. When your life demonstrates the fruit of your discipline, people naturally respect results. They may not like you, they may not agree with you, but they cannot deny what you have achieved. Word. That credibility is far more valuable than the temporary approval that comes from words. Words might convince for a day, but results convince for a lifetime. Word. This principle also protects your energy. If you let results speak for you, you don't need to get caught up in endless debates or explanations. You don't need to prove yourself in every conversation. You free yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to be understood. Word. Because you know that your work will eventually do the talking. That freedom allows you to focus entirely on execution. Word. And it is that focus that keeps you moving forward while others are still talking. Word. Winning loudly does not mean showing off. It means living in such a way that your success cannot be hidden. It means your dedication, your consistency. Word. And your results become undeniable. You don't need to announce every step. The final outcome will be your announcement. Word. And the best part is that results don't just silence critics. They inspire others. When people see what you've accomplished, they are moved to believe that they too can achieve something extraordinary. At the end of the day, remember this: no matter how strong the doubt, word, no matter how loud the criticism, no matter how harsh the judgment, nothing speaks louder than winning. Results are the universal language of success. And once you have them, they cannot be ignored. Talk less, work more, and let your victories tell the story that words never could. Word. Silence creates mystery and power. When people don't know what you are doing, they can't predict your next move, they can't sabotage your steps, word, and they can't measure your progress against their expectations. Mystery gives you an advantage because it keeps others guessing. In a world where everyone overshares, silence makes you different. It creates curiosity, and that curiosity works in your favor. Word. People begin to wonder what you're working on, where your energy is going, and why you don't feel the need to broadcast every detail. That quiet confidence becomes power because it shows you are not desperate for validation. You are secure in your path. Mystery also removes pressure. Word. When no one knows your exact plan, you are free to adjust, to pivot, and to experiment without the burden of other people's opinions. Silence allows you to make mistakes in private and learn from them without the world watching. Word. It gives you space to refine your craft until you are ready to reveal it. By the time people see what you've been building, it's no longer fragile. It's strong enough to stand on its own. That element of surprise makes your success even more impactful. Because no one saw it coming, there is also a psychological effect in being unpredictable. If people know your every move, they can anticipate, compete, or even attempt to block you. But when your growth happens in silence, they can't interfere because they don't even know what to interfere with. This unpredictability gives you control. It's the same reason strategists and leaders throughout history have valued secrecy. Revealing everything too soon makes you vulnerable. Holding things back keeps you powerful. Silence also helps you conserve dignity and composure. Not everyone deserves to know your struggles, your setbacks, or your unfinished plans. By staying silent, you avoid unnecessary judgment during the delicate phases of growth. The world doesn't need to see your process, it only needs to see your results. And when they finally do, the mystery of how you achieved it only adds to the respect. People respect what they cannot easily figure out. Think of the way nature works. The roots of a tree grow deep underground in complete silence. No one can see them, no one measures their progress, but they are becoming stronger with each passing day. By the time the tree appears above the soil, it already has a powerful foundation hidden beneath. That unseen foundation is what allows it to withstand storms. Your silence is the same. It is the root system of your success. It is the hidden strength that no one sees, but that everyone will eventually feel when your achievements come to light. Mystery also draws people in. Human beings are naturally curious about what is not obvious. When you keep quiet about your moves, people pay more attention, not less. They wonder what you're up to, and their curiosity amplifies the impact when you finally reveal the results. Instead of draining yourself with constant explanations, you let suspense build around your journey, and that suspense magnifies your eventual success. The truth is, you don't need to reveal everything to prove you are working. Silence proves itself when the results arrive. The mystery you create by keeping quiet makes your success more powerful, more respected, and more undeniable. Power is not in broadcasting. It's in holding back until the time is right. Let people wonder. Let them guess. Let them doubt. And when the moment comes, let your results answer all their questions at once. That is the true power of growing in silence and winning big. Conclusion: the secret to winning big isn't found in noise, attention, or validation. It's found in your discipline to grow in silence, to prepare without applause, and to let your results do the talking. Never forget, a seed planted in silence will one day produce fruit that speaks for itself. Grow quietly, win loudly,